Okay.
Great. So, Renata, would you like to tell us a little bit about what first inspired you to offer this workshop?
Yeah. I think I have to tell something about my background with Reiki and psychosynthesis.
Okay. Yeah.
So I will take a huge round to come to the seminar. I hope that's okay. And I apologize for my English and hope you will speak slowly and with short sentences to support me. So, in the early 90s, I was married and my husband was hoping for children together. And I became pregnant and I lost the child. I had this kind of pregnancy, extraordinary, without the
Ectopic,
yeah.
I think call it, outside of the uterus.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and I ended up in the hospital. And after that, we thought, okay, that's how life is going. And we just take a new trial. And a year later, I was pregnant again. And I ended up in hospital with the same, at the same date, in the same hospital, at the same room, in the same bed. And that was the beginning that I started to think about, what is life telling me? What's the message in it? And I never ever was attracted to esoteric practices. So I was more or less joking about it. So, and in this situation where I was really in a deep crisis, someone gave me a Reiki treatment. And something clicked inside me. And so I took first degree. And still this question was there, what is life telling me? And I started to do some therapy, a little bit. And when I assisted my Reiki master in giving a first degree class, it took place at the Psychosynthesis Institute. And the owner of the institute was there in the evening, and she was telling about psychosynthesis and how beautiful this is and how great this therapy is. And I was delighted. It was similar to Reiki. I had this feeling there is something I was looking for without knowing that I was looking for it. And I immediately said, I will take place in the next group. I will do the education. And she said, the group is full. And I said, not for me. So I was hoping. And some weeks later, she phoned me and said, oh, someone went out of the group. There is space for you. So, and I started my education as psychosynthesis therapist over 4 or 5 years. And at the same time, you have to do a lot of therapy, of course. And I could clarify myself. And looking back, I have to say, I think every Reiki practitioner who wants to become a Reiki master should take therapy to clarify themselves. Otherwise, we put it on our students. So, and what I liked on the psychosynthesis was it has such a positive view on the human beings. It says we are all complete. We are all complete entities. And sometimes we don't get into it because there is something in front or hinders us, but it's there. So, and that was one part that this view to people is so seeing the wholeness of everyone. and not to see the deficit. And so I like that very much. And our main part that we say is become what you are. And so I see my work as psychosynthesis therapist in a way of being a midwife, to help things into the life what people couldn't bring out by themselves. So, and that's for me a very different point of view than in psychoanalysis. And the other part, what I really liked is there is no therapist and client. It's this. It's on eye level. So it's a kind of partnership in the sessions. Because I see I'm a whole being and you are a whole being. And I only be a kind of a tool for you to bring it out. So not more. And that's what I really like. And it's now nearly 30 years with Reiki, more than 30 years with Reiki and 30 years with psychosynthesis. And both flows beautifully together. With Reiki, I got the courage to look behind the curtain, to look at my shadows, which I didn't want before. I always thought I have had a beautiful childhood because otherwise I would break down. So, and with Reiki, I got the energy and the courage to say, okay, there was a lot what happened in my childhood and was not happy. And so this, yeah, if I tell too much, Kate, just interrupt me, yeah? And what me brought into the seminar, I'm very intuitive and creative in seminars. So in my work, I'm a business consultant. I'm working as a conflict manager. I'm doing team development and coachings, for example, and the psychosynthesis and Reiki. So it flows together too. It's also synthesis. And one day I was laying on the Reiki table in the background of a room where a seminar went on, and I was kind of between being awake and being sleeping. And just I got this image of this broken bowl. And I came up 5 minutes later, I came up with the whole seminar, and I told my colleague and said, I will do this seminar. And these life breaks, I really think they are golden gifts of the soul. So without life breaks, we cannot develop, we cannot come forward. And what I liked was this analogy to the Japanese culture that says every broken thing will be repaired, and they put gold on it and make it much more value than before. And so we are much more value with our life breaks that we work on and that we integrate into our being. Our value is growing and growing and growing. And so that matches together for me. Yeah, and I like that very much. And it was just before Corona. I had the option to do the seminar just before Corona. And then everything stopped. And after that, I became very ill. The next life break a very huge one, and now I'm back. So with another golden line. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Renate.
Yeah.
I didn't know very much about psychosynthesis. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it came about, its origins, how long has it been around?
Yeah. It was founded by a man named Roberto Assagioli. He was Italian, living at the same time like Sigmund Freud and Carl Gustav Jung. And he was very interested in Eastern methods, in Kabbalah, in meditation. He was very bright interested. And his mother was a Theosophin. And so very young, he got more influence than only from the Western world. And Sigmund Freud wanted him, he was a doctor, psychiatrist, and Sigmund Freud wanted him to bring psychoanalysis to Italy. And very soon he realized psychosynthesis for him, it's too small. It doesn't really meet the whole person. It's only going with deficits and try to fix deficits. So he didn't bring psychosynthesis to Italy. He created psychosynthesis. And he brought together Western and Eastern methods. So we are working a lot, and it's a very soft therapy. There is no power, nothing that will try to break you. It's just going with what's there and to support it, but without any power. And he was a man like that. He was very soft, he radiates softness and love. Beautiful man. And we work in psychosynthesis a lot with visualizations, with paintings. We paint our inner view. We work with, C.G. Jung said roles for it. We say we work with subpersonalities. For example, my inner perfectionist is a subpersonality. And my loving mom of my dog is another subpersonality. And every subpersonality has its own way of thinking, its own way of behavior. And it's like a whole different person. So, and sometimes a subpersonality moves forward into public, and it's inappropriate for the moment. If my inner child goes to the meeting with my boss, it's not okay. Yeah. For example. And so we have another part of us, we tell it the observer. And the observer, it's neutral, and he sees which subpersonality comes on the floor and comes forward and can say, that's okay, that's your time, or to say, no, not yet. Yet now there is someone else necessary. So we call it the observer, and the observer needs the quality of being neutral and being kind of a regisseur who says the actor, the actress, who
The
is
director. The director, I think, is
the director. Yeah, yeah. So and for example, every subpersonality came to us, most of them came to us in our early years, and sometimes they came to us when our soul decided to incarnate. We brought them with us. So, and every subpersonality has the main goal to protect me and to support me. And it came to me in different situations where I needed it, but situations and life changed. And the subpersonalities, they don't get that. They still go how they learned to be. So they want to protect me from something that's not necessary now, for example. There is a beautiful story that happened in Japan 10 years after the end of the Second World War. They found a soldier within the forest, and this soldier didn't realize that the war is over. He always was fighting for his country. And the Japanese, they didn't laugh about this stupid soldier that didn't realize that the war is over. They brought them back into the light, and they gave all the honor to them and decorated him highly and gave thanks to him that he was such a loyal soldier for his country. And then smoothly they told him, the war is over. And that's something that we have to do with our sub-personalities sometimes too. That we say, the war is over. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for protecting me. And now you can take a rest, for example. Yeah. So this is the main concept. And another very interesting part about Roberto Assagioli, he was Jewish, and at the Second World War, he went to the United States. And in the 70s, psychosynthesis came from US to Europe, as a lot of practices like Pilates was the same. And it came in the 70s. It was spectacular because we are working with the self, the I, and with the higher self, the soul. And we do therapy with both parts of a person, with the personal therapy and the higher part, the higher self. And that was 50 years ago. No one else did that. Now it's quite normal, but at that time not. And Assagioli, he decided, he founded the Psychosynthesis Institute in Florence. And he decided that 50 years after they should close the institute. He didn't want to have a kind of monument or saying this is the psychosynthesis school and it's so and never have to change. He said, we are open to every method that fits together with our belief system. And so we use a lot of methods. Sometimes I'm working with a timeline from NLP or with Gestalt therapy or something. So, but the main part is sub-personalities and working with fantasy journeys. So, yeah.
Oh,
maybe you have questions.
yes.
Too.
Anyone have any questions for Renate? Just unmute yourself and ask away.
I just think it's all really fascinating, Renate. Thank you very much for everything you've told me. I'm really interested in all of this. I've done a little of this in my background as well, so I'm really interested in everything you've been telling us. So, what was your journey with your dealings? Did you do Reiki first, or did you do your you did Reiki?
I did Reiki first. I took first degree in June 91, and I found psychosynthesis in 93. So it was very close together. Yeah, and interestingly, in my group, in my group to become a psychosynthesis therapist, 70% of the people were also practicing Reiki. So it really, it's like siblings. It's very nice together. So
Fascinating.
and the interesting part for me was when I came to Reiki and to psychosynthesis, I was really in companies only, in business and so. And with this new world that came to me, I had the feeling I want to do only Reiki and psychosynthesis and nothing else. I felt so lonely with my spiritual self in the business world. So, and then when later I became a member of the Reiki Alliance and came to my first conference with more than 100 Reiki masters, and some of them, they fly and are holy, and so there's everything. And I realized I feel lonely with my business self in this context. So, and it took me years to realize that it has to come together. Is a synthesis inside me. And now I can see both worlds, like the other part of mine too, very much, because in the business world, they miss very often the spiritual part. And in the spiritual world, they are so attached to the business part. And I bring both together. So, but it took me a long time to see that this is a quality and that it's not the one or the other, that it's both together. It's more than before. So, yeah.
I can really relate to that because I've been trying to synthesize my life and bringing it together for a long time. Reiki hasn't been enough on its own. It needed something else. And for me, it's the nutrition work now, which is, I can see that they marry together. It's a greater whole. So yeah. And I think it's so wonderful to bring Reiki into other aspects of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than keeping
Yeah.
it separate.
And 30 years ago, when I did business seminars, internet wasn't there in this way. And so when I told people that I'm a Reiki practitioner too, they looked at me like that I'm crazy. And and at the same time, it was like that. And during the break, very often someone came and asked me question about Reiki. But very soon I realized lots of them asked the question just as an opener to criticism. And I stopped that. And I said, you know, they wanted to discuss, does it work or not? And in the meantime, I say, you know, look at me. Do you think I'm so stupid that I practice 30 years every day something that doesn't work? And then the discussion is okay. Yeah. So, and but today it's quite easier. And today I say, if you went to the internet and did Google me, you could see I'm a Reiki master and a psychosynthesis therapist too. And then it's okay. And lots of them know it or practice it. And in my coaching clients, very often I ask them, why are you coming to me? Why did you choose me? And they feel attracted to the variety, that there is the business part and the spiritual part, that both is there. So, and sometimes they are afraid to step in contact with their own spirituality. And then they think, okay, there is someone who is working in business. Maybe I can trust her. So, and yeah, it was the same for me.
Great.
So,
Anita.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what's the difference between that and psychotherapy practitioners?
Can you say it again? I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
Could you tell me the difference between the psychothesis, yeah, and psychotherapy practitioners?
Depends on the method of psychotherapy. If you speak about psychoanalysis, it's the classical way. It's normally focused on your past and what happened in the past, and to look what are the wounds you got and step into that again and again and again. And psychosynthesis looks to the present and the future and looks, what would you like to become, or where want you to go? And if there is something in between that hinders you, then we look on that and then we try to heal it. But the main focus is going into the future instead of being focused only on the past. And we say in psychosynthesis, as Jolie said, if it comes in time, it's education. If it comes too late, it's therapy. So, and I think, yeah, that's true. Yeah. If it comes in time, it's just education of the life education. And if there something happened wrong, then we take therapy to bring it. Yeah. And I remember when I had my education was great. I only could see it afterwards very much. When I was in the middle, I didn't really see how great it was. I had nearly 20 teachers from around the world, and today you can't find that. So, and there was one, a very old one, and I saw in my group in the beginning, there were people, they had 8 years of psychoanalysis, 6 years of psychoanalysis, and things like that. And I had some sessions, some weeks of therapy, and I thought, my gosh, am I right here? And I went to David, to this old teacher in the break, and I said, David, I'm not sure if I'm the right person here. They have so much analysis over years and years and years, and I'm not. And he took a while, and then he looked at me and he said, life did this work on you. So, and I think, yes, that's true. So he said, life worked on you so much, so it's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Liz,
Oh, could I ask, is there a school that teaches psychosynthesis in the UK? Or...
Yeah. Psychosynthesis Trust in London.
Okay. Thank you.
They have great teachers. 2 of them were my teachers too. Yeah.
Thank you. Very interesting.
Yeah. Welcome.
can you
Yeah,
tell us a little
I
bit?
have
Go on,
thought-
Liz.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just going to, because I've trained in NLP, and so when you were talking about bringing that in, and also I have a big business background. That's and of course I learned Reiki with Kate. So it was interesting when you were saying about bringing that all in. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that means you totally know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I've got a lot of the life breaks as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
life has done its work on me. So,
in Germany, we say we talk about children from Sundays. I don't know, is this in England too? And that means children from Sundays, they have a light life, they are on the sunny side of life, and so. And this old teacher said, children from Sundays, they have a hard life. They doesn't get so much possibilities to grow. So, and then I thought, okay, then I have a lot of good of good preparation that I bring in. So, yeah. And to make it round with the beginning of my story, with these broken pregnancies. In the sum, I had 3. After the second one, I started with psychosynthesis and Reiki, and I started to become contact with my spirituality and with my wholeness. After the third one, my marriage was broken. But the very, 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 very important part for me was that within this process, I could see that children wasn't meant for me in this life. And that I wanted to have children for my husband because he was longing for it, not me. And I could see the patterns behind, and I could see why it is more healthy for me not to have children and to become freedom with this. So that was a great, great gift. So all these women around me who got children, they said, oh, I'm not sure, can I show you my child? You lost it. And I said, oh, come on, I like children, yeah? But not mine, so it's a good thing. So that means I got such a huge lesson and help for my life through this break. Yeah, and that's mostly as long we are in the middle of this mist, we think, oh, I do not need that. And later, if we look back, we can see what it brought us and what it makes with us. So I'm sure you know that. Yeah, it's not especially German. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
I ask you, how long do you meet with somebody for? Or does that just depend?
In psychosynthesis sessions? So most of the therapists have the session setting like everyone else. That means an hour. But we do not need so many sessions. It depends on with what people come. Sometimes people want to have a regular meeting because they they think they need it. But normally it takes maybe 5 till 15 sessions. And I'm not doing 1 hour sessions. I say, especially for the first session, I say at least 2 hours. And normally I have 1.5 till 2 hours because I don't want them and me in a pressure, in a hurry. I want that it's possible that something can grow. And I know from my own therapy, sometimes 5 minutes for the end, I came to the point. I came, and then it would have been good to go deeper. And I want to have them to spend more time, and that's what they do. And I have to say, Anita, I don't work a lot as therapist. The interesting part is I realized that it's not mine to work with clients, for example, who are depressive or so, to work with them every week. I realized working with people in the business context and to bring in my quality into that's more me. And in psychosynthesis, I'm working as a teacher for therapists. I do some seminars within their education program. And those who are in the education program, they need sessions. And some of them come to me, but I wouldn't say they really need therapy. They need the experience of the therapy. They have to clarify themselves, but from a high level we start. And it's very often a mixture of learning how I do it and clarifying their own thing. So therapy itself, it's not mine in this strong way. And in Germany, it's psychosynthesis therapy. It's not accepted from the health insurance. We have only the classic psychoanalysis is accepted from the health insurance. Every other method who are more or less more successful are not accepted. So
I've often, because that's interesting when you were saying about psychoanalyst looks back at your past, because I have often thought that sometimes dwelling too much in the past isn't healthy. And could it, if there's been trauma, can it re-evoke that trauma and then cause more harm again? But I don't know whether it's in sometimes to put like a protective coating around that trauma because it's still there and it's not going to go away, but to somehow manage the past but look forward to the future. So it's interesting. I just sometimes worry or wonder with psychotherapists whether it can cause more harm somehow if people have experienced a lot of trauma.
I agree. I think the same. It's important and it's good to understand from where do I come from and what made me the person I am. That's okay. That to understand it's important also for going forward into the future, but to stick on the past again and again and again, I don't think that's really healthy. Yeah, I agree.
So you were telling me before about a little bit about how you bring Kintsugi into this, together. How do you bring them together? And Reiki, of course. How do you use the Kintsugi in your workshop in relation to?
Yeah, we work with our life breaks. And we look at our life and we look at the life breaks. And at the same time, we use Kintsugi to make them shown. Liz, can you unmute?
I said highlight.
Yes, yeah. So we work on it with two different methods, but sitting there with this broken bowl, we start, for example, with a hammer and put our bowl down. And that's the first process. For some people, it's a very painful process.
You mean smash it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then you sit there with these broken pieces as a picture of your life, with all the pieces of your life. And then we start to bring them together, to make them gold. So, and then we we look back with psychosynthesis. Then we go to the handwork and make the bowl whole. So we do both. We bring the experience into all levels, not only mind and emotion, also really in material way. And that's unbelievable, unbelievable. So, yeah.
Liz, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, because that was going to be my question, because I imagined, and this is part of why I wanted to see you today and hear about it, because I imagined we had to bring something that was broken.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that we don't, because I was thinking there's so much energy around how it got broken, and I didn't understand how you could heal that. It almost it was highlighting the trauma, really, of the break and all the things that would be around that.
Yeah.
And
then you heal it.
yeah. So, but I understand that. So if we start with the whole and smash it, then it's more can't think of the word. It's more of an analogy of all our breaks.
Yeah.
Rather than the things that are actually held in the thing
Yeah.
that is broken. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I thank you for the translation. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and it's so moving and so, and you touch different levels of your being. So, yeah. Yeah, you will be asked to bring something, for example, a cup or a bowl, which you like. And which is willing to give his love to you and to allow you to break it. I bring bowls with me, but this is the second best. This is only if someone forgets about something. But the question is to bring something that you really like, and not to buy a new bowl, I see. Just to bring a bowl that you have. Wait a second, I'm back soon.
Yes, I've got this dilemma as well. I have a bowl that I like too much to smash. So that would be really quite good in a way, but I just feel too attached to it to smash it.
I have something which I've made, I have designed, I have done, put my whole, right from the whole design, from taking the photographs and the whole design process. And my friend said to me, how can you break that? I said, I have got to. That's how much this whole process means to me.
Wow.
That means that much to me. I have done every process I have made, I have designed this whole process, and that's how much it means that I have got to break this bowl.
Wow.
And it is a Japanese tea bowl, which is made for the Japanese tea ceremony. That is why it is so important. This is very important. This is how much of me I am pouring into this process. And that's why it is so important, Renate, that this is why this is so important. It's a completion for me. I'm pouring that much of me into this whole process. So
yeah, that's true.
because this whole piece that I am going to break, I took photographs for the whole design process for making the piece.
Yeah,
So to break this and to make it even more beautiful, will be doing what I need to do with my life.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Lynn.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is I like this. I have it since a very long time. It's not, it wasn't expensive, it's not very special, but that was my my first trial that I did it by myself before I started to give the seminar. I worked with this. And it's a little butter working. And it's really much more valuable now. There's nothing like that. It's an unicat. So nothing else like that. And same with me and you and you. There is nothing that's the same.
That's great. Wonderful. Yes. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? How something quite simple can be so profound. And I'm really excited about the way that we're going to be working, as you say, on all the levels, on the, the mind, the emotions,
Yeah.
the spirit, and also the very grounded, practical.
And
As an analogy, and yeah, it's just, I think this is such a brilliant idea, Renate, and I can't wait.
and it's also fun. So
Yeah.
every broken piece that you bring back, it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were telling me that we're going to have each piece sort of represent a different part of ourselves or something, or different part of the breaks, or
So that's part of the individual work. It's
Mm.
possible that you sit with one piece and take it with you in the meditation and talk to this piece and ask, what is your gift and what did you bring me in my life? And only you know for what it stands. So it's not important for the others, but you will fill it with your own meaning. And maybe you say, this piece has to do with something that happened in my childhood. And I could heal it. And some pieces are healed. And as we know, it will always be another level that's not done yet. So sometimes it's like a spiral. Our soul presents us a theme. We work on it. We have the feeling we have solved it. And some months later, we touch the same theme, but on another level.
Yeah.
And we can go into the next round and can learn the next part. But just in the beginning to start there would have been too much.
Yes.
So our soul just presents us what we can work with. So, and then we do some rounds. And sometimes I say, oh no, you again.
Not again, yes.
No.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
this hole again. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Liz, did you have something else?
I'm still pondering about which bowl. I mean, it is interesting because I've been doing a lot of work on trauma over the last 4 years during COVID and things for various reasons and things, but more from the point of view of healing it, not stirring around in the dirt, to the extent that I now go, oh, thank you for this. That's great. Thank you for this learning opportunity.
So that's very good that you say it. We will not step into the trauma again and doing a re-trauma. So we just want to, we will activate our observer, and together with our observer to look at the situations so that we can see it, that we also can see the pain that we had, that we can, without stepping into the pain again. Yeah, sometimes there is a little pain that comes up, but we don't, it's not our goal to step into it again. Yeah, just to activate the observer and to see with gratefulness how much we could get out of this, how much this piece, this broken piece, brought us. Yeah. So it's more about that, to do the integration and the synthesis. Yeah.
And I think we've chosen Paulston Court as the place to hold this workshop, and I think it'll be so supportive to this work. It's such a wonderful spiritual place and amazing nature around and so on. I think it just fits so well for me to Anita, you know Paulston, don't you, from the Alex Tai Chi's retreats. Yeah, I think it'll just be amazing to do it there.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to meet you there.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Renate. It's been really, really enriching hearing you talk about this, and it's really inspiring and really exciting. And you know, hope we'll end up learning all of this and doing this together. Yeah.
Can I have a wish to the end?
Yeah.
I would like to hear from every one of you a little feedback. So how you are with that. So I'm always interested.
Do you mean about this evening, or what you've shared, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just what's just there after this hour.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's been fascinating, and thank you very much for sharing. You're there on my screen, which is why I'm looking. As I said, I've been doing this trauma work and lots of other spiritual things, and it seems that this is a right time for me, the perfect time for me, because it's sort of bringing it all together. Because I've been looking at various different things, and it's sort of like, oh, and also it seems to bring a lot of my experience and background into it as well. So so thank you, and you spoke about a lot of things that I didn't know about, so that was really fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it's been very interesting and a lot of food for thought. And I think it's got me thinking of other conversations that I've had with people about all sorts of things to do with, you know, forgiving your 16-year-old self or your 20-year-old self of the things that you may have done, when you think, why are you holding yourself in your history? Because that's gone now and you can only look forward. So I think it's kind of linking up with lots of different things for me. So thank you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see you at Poleston because I'm going to my Tai Chi weekend, and I'm afraid I wouldn't be there, but it is lovely. And I studied ceramics when I was a student. And so one of my tutors used to study in Japan, and I had the honor of him buying one of my bowls once, which was very nice. And but he always used to teach us. Well, one of the things I remember was just that about the clay coming out of the ground and the imperfections. They weren't imperfections; it's the way that it was created, and it's not an imperfection. It is because it's a natural object that's come from the earth. And so I think that kind of relates to us as well. And I think I've had other conversations with people when I had mentoring once, and I think it was my boss wanted me to do some mentoring, and the mentor said to me, "Oh no," she said, "I will do this mentoring, but only on the premise that you understand that Anita's not broken." So it's just kind of what this whole conversation has made me think of lots of different things, that we're not broken, but there are breaks, but they get joined because we, like you said, we are whole. So it's lovely. I mean, a very nice conversation, and it's something that's obviously made me link up with lots of other things. So thank you very much for allowing me to sit in this evening.
Thank you, Anita.
Oh, thank you so much, Renate. Thank you. It was such a fascinating evening. I'm really interested in listening to you, and I've also because I've had a really wonderful about turn with my life with the ceramics, and also with the various different background I've had in my life with supporting others in various ways through Reiki and other supporting people in the support fields, not in the therapies that you work in, but in similar therapies and support fields. But it's been fascinating listening to you, and really interested in to all the various different personalities, and it's I will definitely look into this a bit more. But thank you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, I can't stop. Just one point what I wanted to say. If in my work, or in this work with the seminar, old pain comes up, or something that needs to be healed now, I give it full of trust to Reiki. And very often I don't look, why does it happen? How did it come from? So I doesn't go into the past that much. I just see there is something that looks for healing, and I give it to my Reiki practice and let Reiki its work do. So, and that's great together. So, thank you.
Yeah, beautiful, Renate. That's lovely. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us this evening. I've learned more as well, and I'm just so excited about this workshop, and look forward to taking part.
Thank you for organizing this.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's very selfish. I organize it because I know I need it. I want to
We know each other nearly 30 years.
We do, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met many years ago. So yeah, it is lovely to come to this place in our spiral.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great. So if there are no more final questions or sharings, we'll finish there. Thank you everybody for coming.